What's up, Twitch? Time for Little Planet Side. Big double XP weekend. Stack experience boosters, that would be cool. Let's try it. Let's find some trouble. Or anything about this base. This way? So we're shooting at the sky. Why not? Like coming in from above ought to be... They see me. The fuck is shooting me? Exposed here. Oh, we got one at least. Look at that toss. Oh. Alright, serious face on. 31%, let's do this. At least we're getting one thing done each time we die. Let's see if I can find an especially clever spot. On top of the building. Shit. This is not where I want to be. This will be a better fight. Still not too big yet. Oh, it's a construction site. Jesus. I didn't know these still existed. Yeah, this might not go too good. Shit. Sunder right there. I pump this wall at all? I'm trying to stream and record at the same time. A bit much. Again, this fight might just be too big. No medics? In need of medical attention. Anyone on the roof? Oh my goodness. That's a yes. See if I can get some sneaky peeks. Oh. Jets are out. To buy jump jet fuel. Shit. ACX-11 for this fight. This guy's gonna try to peek. Any smaller fights I can hang out in? No, take the res. Alright, we'll hang out a little while longer. Wait. Take the res, take the res. Should have found cover first, then shot. this guy. Yes! It may not be the most reliable sidearm, but it is far and away the most satisfying. Right. Sneaky sneak. Ooh, he sees me. Nope! Ah! It's the bow. Received the reward of nothing. Well done, me. Typical NC. At least he's recalcitrant. Huh. Cleaning up the mess a little bit. Wow. That's a pretty sight. That was dumb. I should not have run straight into this guy. Oh well. Samir? So... I think we need some better music. What should we listen to? Twitch? Let's try this. Hip-hop and jazz instrumentals. Okay. Me plus 3 against 1 lonely Terran. Let's see how this goes. I think we might do fine. $377. How do those numbers shake out? See, they got a couple minutes to show up. Okay, time to start paying attention. Where would they be spawning from over here? Should know biolabs better. Oh fuck. The one TR. I get ambushed by. Alrighty. Come on, TR, get here and farm us. Much to say there. Hey, look at that. We dominated. That's right. That's a thing of beauty. Alright, might be time to leave if the TR just aren't gonna show. They're all hanging out at ISA. Nice of the TR and VS to leave us out of this fight. Oh, wow. Yeah, let's get there. That looks way more fun. Small fights. Window peeky keeps getting him. What? Okay. Let's join a squad. Share the XP around a bit. aim is not so good tonight. Jeez, learn to shoot, man. Where did that guy come from? Yeah, I need to turn the AC down in my room. Oh, a little. Is there a little freezing? Should have chilled for a second. A little too excited. Let's take the high road. What? What? That guy so many times.
What you playing?
Yo, what up?
What are you playing?
You are very quiet.
What are you playing?
Planet Side.
Oh.
What are you playing?
Oh, nothing. I'm just watching Money Heist.
Season 3.
If you're quiet, or if Discord's quiet, but I can't hear a damn thing you're saying.
Maybe I'm quiet. I'm not sure. Yeah, the third season of Money Heist is actually pretty good. I was super skeptical.
Third season of, I know you said it 4 times already, but the third season of what?
Money Heist. La
Money
Casa de
Heist?
Papel. Money Heist.
Oh, never heard of it.
Money Heist.
Money Heist. What is it?
It's a Netflix show that was produced in Spain. It's in Spanish, but it's really good. I mean, it has subtitles, obviously.
Do you parlo Espanol?
I speak a little bit, but I have to read the subtitles. They talk fucking fast.
Right.
Like the subtitles are going by so fast that I have trouble reading the subtitles. Like that's the because it's like a high energy. You know, they're like it's like shit goes by fast. So.
Actually, I don't understand. Could you say that again so I can better understand how it goes?
Yeah, speak slower so I can follow the speech that's happening on the screen. The characters talk over each other a lot too, so it's really hard.
Sure.
Like, subtitles are popping in from different angles and different,
You know, I'm coming to accept those. I'm not very good at video games anymore. Not the way I used to think I was.
It's because you've been playing Care Bear games.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That's what I never played any MMOs, but that's what all my friends who played on PvP servers, like in Asheron's Call too.
I was talking to
No Care Bear bullshit.
I was talking to Bad Luck about this the other day. I just I hated everything about shooters that were made from like 2003 until Overwatch came out.
I want to check out that new Overwatch mode, like everyone's talking about, right?
I haven't checked out Overwatch in a long time.
Well, they're adding the role queue, so you don't have to just fucking play whatever you have to play. This is my biggest problem with the game, where you were forced to play whatever role your team needed, not the one that you wanted. Now you'll be able to queue as a specific role.
Seems like a good tweak. Oh,
Yeah,
this poor guy. I just killed him like 4 times in a row.
They're calling it like the 2x2x2, but it's like 2 tank, 2 healer, 2 DPS, so that you'll be playing a competitive queue with a group that's predetermined based on what people want to do,
Yeah, it makes sense.
And that was, again, it's addressing the biggest problem of the game, which is cool that they're doing that. I hadn't talked to any of those guys in a long time, so it's neat. Knew the guys at Blizzard when I was working at Perfect World, and was actively engaged with them.
Yeah.
In random times.
Did you get married to him after you were actively engaged?
No, like the community, when you're in the game community, like everyone talks to each other. Like you go to like the same thing. Like we were the only shooter that had ever been shown at BlizzCon, like at an official BlizzCon thing. Like shit
Really?
like that. You just get to know people. Yeah, Intel invited us, and Blizzard was okay with it, even though it wasn't a Blizzard game. Which is really weird. Yeah, exactly. Well, like it was at like the after the day 2 party or whatever. You know what I mean? But it was like it was an official event. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
It was like the Intel hosted party at BlizzCon. And like a lot of people were like, "How the fuck did you get your game in here?" I did a favor for Intel, so.
I know a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah. But like everyone knows each other. Like, so it was funny. Like, I think I never told you, like we went to one of the events for AMD. We also had AMD and NVIDIA both as sponsors of our game, which has never happened before. Like, played better on whatever, they have their bullshit marketing the logos they slap on the game.
Yeah, right. On hardware.
Meant for NVIDIA. I don't know, whatever they say. It's like, each have their phrasing. Play best on, whatever. We had both of them co-marketing with us. I can't remember. It wasn't that much. It was like $500,000 or $250,000 from each or something. It was still pretty funny, like having them both be like on the game sponsors. But I went to one of the AMD events in Texas. I think it was in Texas. I don't know, I traveled a lot for that game, but we went to one of the AMD events, and it was like Monty from the CPL, who was like the Cal admin who was running the tournament for TFC. It was like him and another guy and Sir Scoots from CS, like that I knew from CPL. It was like there were 3 of the 5 people that were working there. I already knew. They didn't realize I didn't know they were going to be there. Like, just happened that they were there, and I knew them. It was just pretty funny. My coworkers are like, "Who the fuck? This guy knows everybody." Yeah. And they're like, we need to go visit Valve and see like what they have. I'm like, oh, it's cool, dude. I know the Valve guys. Well, just let me know when you want to go. We can fly up there. It's cool. Don't worry. What the
That's
fuck?
a great connector.
Well, this is, we played those games like as you play like a game that way. It's like it just I got to know like Doug and Eric and Robin and all those guys because they came out to the tournaments. They'd be like watching over our shoulders when we're playing.
Yeah, yeah. If you get involved with the competitive scene in some of these games, especially when they're smaller, it's a
Yeah,
good
the guys are like they want to
show up
know.
in person.
Yeah, like and they're gonna be there anyway. Like they got invited, probably paid their way or whatever. Like they were paid to go or whatever. It's like a free vacation for them basically.
Yeah, right.
And they're there for CS anyway. Like at that point, Valve already owned them, so.
Ooh, I just killed Darth Envy, my brother. Greg killed Darth Envy. Get it? That's cool, man. So, how long has it been since you worked in game dev?
Well, like obviously I was in Fortress forever, and I got to know a lot of people from
Yeah.
Riot and Valve during that time. I was like the main contact with Valve, so I did a lot of the back and forth. We needed to. We had to reach out to them for a number of times for random shit.
What was that like?
And then it was fine. I was usually just messaging Robin on Steam since I actually had him on Steam and have the other guys, maybe one other guy on Steam.
What kind of stuff would you correspond about?
Just like the legal side of things, like if someone offered to buy the game or if someone, if they were going to promote it on Steam and things like that. They were totally fine with promoting it on Steam. It's just the fucking bullshit, like internal battles of our own dev team is what prevented us from actually doing the promotion. Yeah. Well, like it was all drama, dude. Like the guy who did the models for our game, like the whole time we were like, dude, like you have like these unattached like objects in the model, like there's like these multicolored boxes in the center of the models. Like we gotta fix that. Like something's wrong, like there's supposed to be an attachment point that's missing, and it was like causing a crash in the animation subroutines. Like the animation part of the source engine was getting blown up by this.
Oh yeah.
For like a year and a half, we were like, bro, you gotta fix this shit. Oh yeah, I'm busy with my real life shit. I can't and we didn't have his source. We needed, you know what I mean? Like we needed the shit off of his.
Yeah, so he had to do it or give you his shit.
Right, and so it went on and on and on. He was a good guy. He was having like personal problems. He had gotten a job in construction because his parents were forcing him off of his computer, and he was like going to the library. It was, it was like serious, like it was like a bad time for him. Like we knew, like it wasn't like we weren't mad at him for doing it. We were just frustrated that it happened,
Yeah.
But the problem is, in the 1.0 version of the Fortress Forever client, the game crashes all the time because the fucking models aren't finished correctly. So we were like, we didn't want Valve to promote it because the fucking game was like crashing. We actually got Valve, I believe, to fix it. Yeah, I think Valve was the one who was able.
They were able to like decompile the models or whatever and figure that out.
No, they released a source engine patch that like or to the SDK
the problem.
Yeah, that caused it to ignore it instead of stopping on it. It was literally just a fault. It was like, oh, your game, stop here because the thing is broken. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Like throw an error. We weren't, this is to throw an error to remind you to fix it, like that kind of thing. And instead they just said to ignore it. I think that's what ended up happening. This is a long time ago. I don't remember exactly. 2006, 2007.
Sure.
But just shit like that. Be like very loose Devrel, but like from me on their side. But they were really supportive of the project actually. But it just got kind of competitive towards the release of it. Like they moved up the TF2 beta by a month to get out the week after us because Fortress Forever actually had quite a few players in that early time period.
Dude, I was talking to Bad Luck about this the other day. I remember like Fortress Forever came out on a Friday and then TF2 came out on like a Monday or some shit like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were like, yeah. When we announced our release date, they announced the TF2 beta. And then when we released, they moved the TF2 beta up. We didn't say anything when it was going to be exactly, and then we kind of started to do it like, drop the mic style and like surprise, and then they literally moved up the TF2 beta release date a month.
Oh man, that is so frustrating.
Like, you fuckers.
Because here's what I remember about this. That's Bad Luck had a very different lens on what happened. So what I remember is, as Fortress Forever coming out, I got into the game. I thought it was really fun. It had a lot of TFC players right at the start because it was new. And then I was like the game felt good to me. It didn't feel like there were any big problems with it on that release. But I don't know. I've been playing it for a few days, but then TF2 came out, and then literally no one was playing Fortress Forever.
Yeah, I
Literally
got shit
no
on.
one.
You have to
And
think, like, when we started Fortress Forever, it was because there was no TF2 coming. Like, no
I
one had been
know.
announced. It was years away. Nothing
Did
happened, and then
did
we
when
ended up
did
taking on
Valve
a big project.
did Valve like on the DL let you guys know, hey, by the way, we're making another Fortress game, or did you just figure it out when everyone
We
else
knew.
did?
We only knew what they had said publicly, which was that there was a lot of different versions of the game, and that Valve hadn't really decided yet on them. I mean, they made the game 4 times in that 4 or 5 year period. You know, so
Yeah, so it could have been a fifth for all they knew.
well, yeah. And the thing was, like, it was honestly bad timing, and the reason why is, like, we were worried, like, with the amount of interest in the game. Like, we were telling just the number of unique, we had, like, 1 million monthly active users on the website or something, monthly, uniques. I mean, like, we
Yeah.
knew from the amount of interest we were getting that it was going to be a pretty big project, and we were worried. We wanted to basically make everything from scratch because we were ripping off their game basically. Like,
Yeah, for
and it
sure.
was on their engine, so they were okay as long as we didn't monetize it. But we didn't want to get into a situation where the game blew up and then it went ugly because they were like, oh, you stole all of our shit. So we had to make it completely from scratch. So all the textures, all the models, all the code, everything was completely from scratch. Even, like, we black boxed everything. Like, Fish and I made, like, we got, the dev builds of the game had developer variables for everything. And Kyle and I basically rebuilt TF with those variables. Like, we didn't start and be
Jeez.
like, oh, we need to set it to be like the same rate. Like, we did it on our own, you know what I mean? Like, so we could prove that, because these are in the builds of the game, right? So you can just go back through the SVN repository and be like, you're like, this, we committed these changes ourselves. Like, we did this ourselves from the ground up. We started with, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can just, that was all we knew. We need the SVN change log would show would vindicate this if it ever came to that.
Wow.
But that was kind of the concern, and that was that was from the start. Like, we knew that. But then when it got really popular in the pre-release phase, we were in, like, magazines and shit. Like, it wasn't, I did interviews with, like, German magazines, with UK magazines, with PC Gamer, with GamePro, with everyone, like, because they wanted me to do it because I was just well spoken, well versed, well written. I could communicate effectively, like, with writing. Like, a lot of our devs were from other countries. But, like, we were all over the world. Like, it needed to be in English. It was going to be either me, Paul, Kyle came a little bit later, or it was going to be, like, the coder guys were just fucking mad. Like, they, how it is.
Yes, I do.
Worked. Yeah, like,
coders are coders.
Yeah, they weren't going to be.
They're not meant to communicate in other languages.
Right, exactly. So, but it was just one of those things, and I kind of just had to do it. It wasn't like I wanted to. Actually, I had a lot of other shit going on in my life. Yeah, like, I had a girlfriend. I was working full time. I was putting in, like, 10, 20, 30 hours a week. So
on top of your job and your girlfriend and everything. Yeah, that'll wear.
Yeah, so I was totally done. Like, that's why when FF 1.0 came out, Kyle and I just were like, peace, fuck this. We were so we were so tired of it. Because I'd played the game probably, like, 500 hours just straight up, maybe more. And I was also leading, like, the QA. Like, I was doing pretty much all the QA stuff and leading the QA team. So it was way too much, dude. It was insane.
Yeah, well, you don't shit where you eat, right? I mean, something you work on, it's kind of hard to enjoy.
Yeah, but it was also a really good lesson. I learned a lot, and I was able to apply that when I worked on Blacklight, because I already knew how to deal with, like, the QA team. I already knew how, like, like, the first weekend they were like, oh, don't fucking, QA is garbage, waste of time. Like, they treated them like assholes.
That's
so, like, literally, like,
stupid.
first or second week, we had, like, the second week I worked there, they had, like, a family, they had, like, a company-wide event at, like, a go-kart racing thing. And I literally was like, let me get on the QA bus. I go and sat in the back, and I, like, shot the shit with the guys and just treated them like humans, And then it was like, okay, it's time to hire the QA team for Blacklight. We got the first builds in the game. We need to start testing it because our fucking dev studio had no testers. So it was just like, it was crazy. They had no QA. So when it was time to hire a team, there were, like, 17 dudes were like, yeah, fuck yeah, I want to work for him. It was just like the shit I'd already learned from having to hire, quote unquote, hire QA people and work forever. Same process, but online. It's
how to treat people.
We had a lot of interest. It was easy in FF. We were like, okay, we need the first 50 people to respond to the forum post. We'll email you with the, instructions for getting the game, and here's the NDAs and all that. It was like, it was easy to, like, get people interested, at that point. There was a lot of people interested, so it was easy to get people to work on FF, but it was hard to keep them, right? Like, hard to get everyone to show up at a specific time, and
Sure, I'll bet.
you have to translate what you find into the, not everyone had access to the bug tracker. I got everyone in. At some point I was like, everyone is so crazy control freaks about everything. They didn't want to give like Vorn access to the source code. They didn't want to give like one of my other friends who was in PCXL, like he was one of the founding members of that clan, like, and he was a software engineer now. Like, they didn't want to give them access to the source code. Granted, like, it's important to keep it secure, but like the game was not being made at that time. Like no one's going to code it, or you're going to hire, you're going to bring people on that want to help. Like, I don't know how else you can compare. Like, it's an obvious choice.
Yeah,
it's not like yeah, like if they steal it and release it, like who fucking cares? We'll just keep working on it and be like, yeah,
Right.
that shit's, we're not done yet, and just tell everyone, like, they know we're not doing it for money, so it's not going to matter. That was the whole thing. Like, we weren't ever
there's
going
a
to make
weird
money. We
attitude.
couldn't.
Yeah.
Valve wouldn't let us monetize it anyway. So that was their only thing. Is like they were like, you can't sell it. Like, we might be interested later or whatever, but you can't sell it. The only thing I regret is not going back one more time to Valve when I was working there and like really hitting them up and being like, yeah, like you can see what I designed in FF and like how I'm working on now. Like, and I had written up, so what I didn't tell you is like I'd written up a huge, like a 30 or 40 page monetization document for TF2. And I ended up sharing it with the Valve guys later, and they were super interested in me working there because I ended up using actually some of the stuff in it. I mean, it was fine. I told them, like, I wrote this for a job interview for a different company. Like, here, fucking have it, because I don't care. Like, it's just something if you want to read it. Like,
30 to 40
you know what I'm saying?
pages.
Like, it was like 30 or 40 pages, yeah. But it was just because I'd played a lot of TF2 at that time, so I knew, like, I was familiar with the free-to-play game world, having played stuff on like mobile and stuff, and I was like, there's just a lot of stuff that they could have done to like capture people's interest in the community, to basically get, just to be not. It was like a lot of stuff, just don't sell power, but sell rarity, and this shit, like just normal shit that everyone was doing. But in 2000 and 2010,
that was pretty new shit 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, so I sent that stuff to them, and then they were kind of interested in me coming up, but like I didn't want to move to Washington, so I just never did it. But like obviously I should have, because I'd be fucking rich, like every Valve
I'm about to say
fucking...
that seems like a missed opportunity.
But I never really got like a job interview. I just should have gone back to them and been like, yo, so you guys are working on some free to play stuff, like I'm interested, because that's how they usually hire. It's like, all their hires and all their acquisitions has been of like, like, oh, Dota's cool, okay, let's bring that guy in, like Counter-Strike's good, we should get Cliffy V to work for us, like they just, it's like implied, we're the Narbacular drop girl, they're like, well, that's a cool project you did for us that summer as an intern, why don't you come and make a real game? It's like, it's just that kind of shit. But anyway, it's neither here nor there, because I didn't want to move up there and work for them. I didn't want to work in the game industry at that time anyway. It was after I'd been at Perfect World, and I was like, dude, it's such a grind for nothing. Like,
I don't blame you for
wanting
to be in game dev. Yeah.
It's a lot of work for very little, like, like, if the game doesn't, like, what happened with my game is like it just kind of fell flat. The studio fell apart that made it, like, they went out of business. We were floating them money like every month to keep them fucking doors open.
Jesus.
Like, it was just all bad. I think, did I tell you that story about what happened?
No.
Like the CEO, Joanna, her husband blew his brains out like the week after we signed the deal. She came home from work and he was standing at the front door, like inside the house, and like just had a gun to his head and killed himself right in front of her.
What the fuck?
So she was gone. Like, there's no leader at the company now, right? The other co-owner was like the other co-owner was just signing movie studio games to make like the game of like a popular movie, like, oh, I have a studio, I can make your licensed video game, He was the reason why all these garbage movie license, you know what I mean? Like the shitty movie games, like there was that whole generation of them on console. Like his studio was making a lot of those, but he just wanted to get into the movie world. He just wanted to go to Hollywood and make movies. He didn't give a shit about games. He would just go schmooze at the parties and be like, yeah, dude, I got your game studio that can make that game. I know you need to get one for your, for your marketing plan. You need to have a video game for your game. Like, I got a studio that can do it for, $200,000 when it's like this shitty game. So he never really wanted to make good games, but then he had hired the dev team for Blacklight, which is supposed to like be the savior of the studio. They built the shit up from the ground. Like the whole thing was the online platform for they'd never made a game for PC. They'd just been doing it on Xbox. And Xbox, Microsoft gives you an API and you just hook it up and they host everything. Now they had to do this all themselves. So we had to like buy the hardware and set it up for them. And like I did a lot of that myself because I just come from an IT background, and we had no one at our company that knew what the fuck they were doing because we were just porting Chinese games and translating them from Chinese to English. We didn't have any experience with actually doing any real work, like RPGs, and just all right, this RPG is going to be a lot of work for us. We have to translate, 400,000 words. Okay.
Jesus.
Our QA team knows how to translate Chinese to English, German, and French. Guys, that there's like 700 words in my game. We need a QA team that knows how to test games. It was like I was the first non-RPG, like internally, sourced game, like not like one that China had developed and handed down to the U.S. subsidiary. So
Yeah, sure.
it was all bad. Like they didn't know what they were doing. They got into a really like unfriendly deal for the developer. Like it was a publisher friendly deal that if the game had made a lot of money, we would have made out like bandits. But if the game fucks up, then they couldn't support themselves. So we literally drove them out of business. And the biz dev guy who made the deal on our side, he quit the day before, like the Friday before I started, he got fired.
Oh, that's good.
And we had our marketing guy was a guy from Nokia that had been making that. He was hired from France on H1B1 visa, whatever. He came to the US and we had hired our marketing lead. He was in charge of like a $30-40 million a year marketing budget, and he was getting $30,000 a year.
What?
That was all that they needed to pay him because there was no, like, that was how much he was asking for because that's how much he'd made at home. Like, how it is,
He
like
didn't
in the hiring
negotiate.
market.
Yeah,
Exactly. I'm like, dude, you should be making at least like 100K, 150K, like to be in that role, like minimum. Like you could ask for that much. Anyway, he was terrible. He was awful. So I ended up doing all of the marketing. Like I literally flew and did all of like the marketing event. Like me and the lead designer for the game on this, studio, the development side. He and I basically went and did all the promotion for the game because he had contacts in the industry. He was like, trying to make his way up in the industry, and I had some contacts too. So we went to IGN together and brought our game on like Alienware laptops and set it up there and played with them and stuff. And the game was good. They were in over their heads making this platform. They built an online platform just like you would have like with EA or Valve or Blizzard. They did it all themselves though with like one guy. It was like this guy Chance, this coder. He built the whole thing on his own.
Wow.
And I basically got it running on the hardware because like they didn't know what the fuck they were doing with the hardware side of things. So I ended up working like massive amounts of hours for like 2 years, or a year and a half. The game came out and then it was like, it kind of flopped, I did okay. You're like, fuck, I just did all this for nothing. Yeah, it was an alright game. It was actually pretty fun, but it had problems. Like it never worked right, The servers would crash, the shit would break. And as soon as I left, it went to complete garbage. Like I was holding it all together because I knew I was very technical. So I was like making sure that they would fix the problems that, we were reporting to them, making sure that QA would like take over, would do the right, give them what they needed with logs and whatnot. Then they just fired the team because they were like, we're not making money on it. So we're just going to cut our losses and try to break even. So that means they couldn't pay anyone anymore. So it was sad, but it was fun. It was a good experience. I got amazing experience, but I didn't want to go and do that then. So I don't know what am I exactly using it for,
Yeah. So what do you do now exactly?
I just am like a jack of all trades IT person now, but I work in a large company, so we're very specialized insofar as we're not, I'm not running Exchange servers or anything. I'm taking escalations from. I'm taking escalations for stuff. Like this week, I was in our Palo Alto office, just helping some like VIPs there. We have a lot of the leadership in our firm out here because we're like the leader in the tech sector, so we have a lot of our stuff, like some of our C-suite execs sit out here in the West Coast. So we support them directly. So yeah, like this week I was in Palo Alto. Next week I'm going to Roseville on Tuesday and Wednesday to help out with a server upgrade there. It's just shit like that all the time, It's like they need hands-on for something. We're replacing the phones. We're upgrading the system. We need you to test the VTC, new whatever middleware we're running to integrate SIP with the Cisco system. We're testing this. Like someone can't work. Their Outlook's not starting. You need to go and train Frank, the new West area leader, on how to use his phone or whatever. It's like could be anything. It's like everything they need to have.
IT.
What's that?
You have an exciting world of IT.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like 50% of the time I'm just sitting at my desk, like chilling. It's like the easy stuff is easy, but then you have interesting projects that you try to get on, just like any job.
Sure.
but it's cool because I like helping people. I'm real like customer focused as far as the way that I deliver the work that I do. You know what I mean? Like I'm very interested in making sure that people are getting what they need and they're happy and not dealing with bullshit. Like so it's fun to just sort of be that knife.
Yeah, I have that kind of angle on my own role. Although I'm not IT, I'm professional services, so it's a little different.
Yeah, so did that stuff with New Relic never worked out though, or they just said they were trying to do it in another place?
I don't know why exactly they didn't call me back, but I know that the role that they're targeting is more of an East Coast focus, and I'm in Bellevue.
Gotcha.
Also, one of the things that keeps, I think, hurting me in these interactions is just the fact that even though I've spent a lot of time working on ETL and databases and a bunch of ETL applications, I just have never worked in an engineering role. I have very little exposure to actually programming.
Yeah, that's the same problem I have.
I worked alongside a lot of programmers and engineers, but I never had the opportunity to do it myself. So I think a lot of people look at me and they're like, we want a business person who knows how to program. Or we want a consultant who's got that kind of background, and I'm just not that guy yet.
Yeah, that's what's hard for me is I don't get to go out of my zone. I'm like I don't get to learn those things. Like I said, I don't know as much about Exchange or Azure as I should. I don't know. I don't get to. I can do those things, but I would be doing it at the I wouldn't be able to do my job. You know what I mean? Like I'd be doing it at the
expense of what you do now.
Yeah, the expensive way I do. I mean, I could do it. Like I'd probably have some support, but then the other problem is we outsource everything. So cool, yeah, you can do that, but you're gonna have to move to fucking Argentina or the Philippines or India or whatever. It's like, and we need people. They need people like me to go there because they need people to be the leader and train those people, and that's what I do.
Yep.
So,
yep.
But I don't want to relocate and I don't want to travel a lot. They want me to work as a consultant too, because they need technical people to work on the ground for the work that they land. You know what I mean? They've gotten the thing signed, but so I wouldn't be in the pursuit side. I mean, I'd be doing some workshops and the front end stuff too, but it'd be mostly with handling the logistics of what we can actually deliver and doing project management side of things. They know I have project management experience, so they've been trying to get me to be that. But our consultants are traveling 75% of the time, and 9 months out of the year they're on the road. And I have a 5-year-old, and my wife works more than me at our company now, so I can't be gone.
Oh,
it doesn't work.
She works at the same company you do?
Yeah. She works more than me. She has.
What does she do?
Gets paid overtime, and she's an executive assistant. She works on the Apple. She works on the Apple engagement, so that's one of our biggest clients. Obviously,
sure.
One of the biggest companies in the world, so it's going to be a big audit client.
Damn straight.
But yeah, she does a lot of that, and she works a lot of overtime. It's I need to be. I'm the one taking care of. You know what I mean? I'm doing let's get home and have a bath and play with her.
Doing a lot of the house stuff.
Yeah, she has to work a lot of the time, or she just logs on at a little later and works until midnight or whatever. But then I have to do, like you said, the house stuff. She can't work till midnight and have me gone for a whole month. She's struggling with me being gone for one night. She has to plan different things for her role and get her mom help or whatever. Because she has to work.
When you got a little girl, someone's got to be at home.
Yeah, exactly.
The truth, man. Get that. You should try PlanetSide if you haven't ever tried it, man. It's not PUBG, but I have a feeling you might tolerate it.
People play PlanetSide 2 still? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. I've been picking it back up.
I know, Pyro and 404 was really into the first PlanetSide.
Yeah, I played the first one a lot too. I'm streaming it right now if you're bored.
I was just gonna play Hearthstone, I think. I was just talking to Napalm. The other guy Spike.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just talking and playing too.
Yeah, it would be cool to play because I actually really liked the idea of that game. I mean, I was interested in playing it. I just don't know. I just never played it. I think when did it come out? 2013 or something?
2012.
2012, yeah. I don't know why I never got into it.
Yeah. Well, Rug plays pretty actively. I've started playing a lot. It's really fun if you play with decent people and you get a good group. But
how many people are in a group? 5 or 6 or something? 4?
It's pretty. So the max size of the group is 48 players. That's a platoon. but Platoon's made up of 4 squads of 12. The squad's made up of 4 fire teams of 3.
Okay. So you could have up to 12 basically in your immediate group.
Yeah.
I just don't like the MMO aspects of any of those games. That's the problem.
I do like that stuff. I don't know why.
Yeah,
It's
you don't
really
have a kid, dude.
Yeah,
I can play like an hour or two of 3 nights a week.
I gotta admit that is part of
I
it. I
keep
can
up.
actually sink some hours into it if I want to.
Yeah, I can't keep up. Like that's the problem. I play MMOs with friends that don't have family, and it's just like, I played it was like Borderlands. I'm level 11. They're like, on their second character at level 70 or whatever. I'm just like,
Yeah, sure. Although, Game of Planet side, like, for progression, you don't really get more powerful. You just get more flexible. You can pretty much do the whole game at level 1. Still be, viable.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. That sounds good.
Anyway, if you ever did get curious about it, you check out one of my streams. But
Yeah, I was watching you play. You were owning.
oh, I like it because it has a jetpack based class called Light Assault that I just love flying around with.
Yeah, it was cool in Tribes and Natural Selection.
And the older I get, the more I stray away from straight up competitive games. I have a hard time not getting super tilted. But I am. Oh,
You
God.
should never play PUBG.
Yeah, I probably won't.
It's the most tilting game ever. But that's why I like it. Like it's like the Counter-Strike thing, where you die and you're like, fuck, and you have to sit there for a little bit, but it's like amplified by like it's
Yeah.
more frustrating but more rewarding, right? Like Counter-Strike is less frustrating but not really that rewarding. Like it's just the same shit. You're running down the same hallway 50 times in a row, Like in PUBG, it's like getting one kill is amazing. Like I didn't get a kill for probably the first 50 hours I played the game, like that kind
Jesus
of level is
Christ.
frustrating.
That is crazy.
First 10 games or something, like it's super hard. Like it's not, it's very hardcore, like, and especially now because the player base is very, very experienced. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of
There's-
weeded out more casual.
Well, there was
players
and there was no
people who do
training
the
in the
shit.
beginning. They added the training map much later, which is stupid. Like that should have been the first thing they worked on. Having the training map would have changed the influx of players early on. It would have made it a lot different having that, because there was literally no way to practice before. Like before they added like some of the custom servers and the war modes and like the DM mode, like there was no way to practice other than just playing. So people would just play to practice. Like, but you might find 1-2 people to kill and you might die the first time. You never actually get to shoot. Like,
Yeah,
if you just
you-
die to the first person you see 10 times in a row, that's like 6 hours gone. Like, or
Right.
whatever. 3
You
hours
don't get to
gone.
practice the gun mechanics at all because you only get chance
Yeah,
every
so
10 minutes to shoot a gun.
yeah, and then you might just die before you fired any bullets. Even now, like those games happen every once in a while where you died, never even fired a single shot, and you're just like, fuck this game. But I mean, that's the thing. It's also mitigated by the fact, like I said, we played that jungle map where you're just looted in the first few buildings you walk into, and then it's time to go. Like it's a much different experience, and now we can't play it. So I was telling, like, you read it earlier what I was saying, like Catacombs is correct. Like the game is like going through a fucking upheaval because you can't.
Yeah, I've been thinking I might get into I've been enjoying playing with the TFC guys in the in-house group. Have you been doing any more of that?
I haven't played. Like, they were trying to get me to play yesterday, but I was actually showing that guy Spike and his friend how to glide jump, how to get across the well water as a broken guy.
Sure.
I was on a listen server on my own, so I couldn't leave and play when they wanted me to. Like, I was hosting the server for them, so I was like,
Yeah, I
sorry,
know
I'm
what
doing a
listen
listen
server
server for them. What's that?
Yeah, I know what a listen server is.
Yeah, but like I couldn't start another instance of TFC and play in their in-house game, but they wanted me to play it. I don't know. I've played a few times though. I don't know how many. It's fun though. I mean, it's fun playing TFC. It's
Yeah.
good. Kyle and I played on Monkey when I was talking some shit with Lat, and then we ended up beating them like 5-4.
Nice.
It was pretty
Monkey's
funny.
a
Like
fun
Kyle and I playing soldier. And he and I playing soldier in that position. Although usually I was flag room and he was at the T.
Yep.
I wasn't that good at the T ever, but like anyway, we were switching the positions around. But he and I were playing soldier together, And after like halfway through already, 7 minutes through the 15-minute round, like we both sort of clicked on defense, and then we just started destroying them, like doing the instant. We'd switch off each other based on our spawns and position. We'd be back at the front door when the flag moved out, like on each side of the long hall. And like, just it was like shit like that we would always do, but it was funny, man. Like having it click and come back like that.
It's kind of like riding a bike. I was surprised how quick it came back to me.
Yeah, the game was so much muscle memory, like insofar as like the maps that I've played before, especially. That's the other problem I have is they play all these maps I've never played before, and I'm just like fucking lost.
Yeah.
Dude, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I don't know where to go. They're like,
I don't know,
you went through the teleporter. They're like, why'd you go through the teleporter? You're in the wrong. I'm like, well, it's the first time I've done that, so maybe next time I'll remember. It's like, there's someone spectating. They're like, oh, well, look at him. I'm like, dude, I don't. It's the first time I've played this map. Like,
one of the first times that I played, Wheaties was on my team, and he was. I was amazed at how into it he still is. Like he is super committed to winning. I was playing Flagrim Soldier on Monkey. He was playing Demo, and the flag went down to the bottom of the flag, right in that little pit, and so I was rotating towards playing in front of the spawn, and I was shooting rockets towards the water because I heard a water call out from the T soldier. I think it was Lat. And then Lemir's like, what are you doing? Don't shoot rockets down there. You're blocking my view.
Okay.
Like, holy shit, man. Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, that's why I was laughing about that thing when we were in the pre-match of Evenflow, and they're like, oh yeah, we had to like disable the team switching because people would. Like,
right.
Why would you do that at this point in the game? Like, I'm gonna win the clan match if I switch teams and get back and respawn faster. Like, or you're a fucking loser. They're like, we're playing a friendly game here in a game that's dead and just trying to have fun, and you're really gonna like make a script to switch teams to avoid the 5-second respawn countdown, or 4, whatever.
That edge, man.
It's like the worst shit ever. Or the people, or like we started playing with a couple of the Euro guys, and they're like chop hopping the script back and forth. I'm like,
Jesus Christ,
isn't that shit banned, dude? Like it says on the thing you can't duck more than once, and here you go like blah 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 blah. Like clearly you just chopped like 7 times in a row and tried to make it not look obvious. I'm like, why would you like just go
why would you cheat and exploit?
Go download hacks and play like a real game. Like
one of the 3 people still playing the game, and you're gonna cheat at it to get advantage over the other 2 people.
You've ruined like 75% of the players that are playing this game right now. There's 13 people playing on Steam, and you're 3. That's just why I was so exact. I was like, wow. Like I was just shocked. I was like, I can't believe that someone would actually do that, and that you'd actually keep them around, and that they would let them around. Like it's like if I did that, they'd be like, all right, well, we're not playing with him then. Like wouldn't that be the end of it?
You would think.
Anyway, I don't know, dude. That shit was hilarious. I was like, are you fucking? That's wow. And it was cracked me up more that you're like, dude, what are you talking about, man? You're being negative. I'm like, no. And like finally you got it. You're like, oh wow, that's really stupid. I was laughing even more. I'm like, that's so funny. I'm gonna get an edge. But yeah, so like PUBG, I play PUBG still just because I've played it 1,400 and 1,500 hours, and I'm still getting better. Like there's still more for me to learn. Like that's
I totally get the addiction of climbing the skill curve. That's what made TFC so fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I like TFC. Like, and I liked playing Soldier. That's another thing. Like I was trying to explain to you guys, like you have a player that's like, you're like a third of a second of the bullet travel time, right? Like your weapon is 700 meters per second, and they're 200-300 meters away. That's like, 400 milliseconds. So you're playing with like high ping, but it's really just like rockets. I mean, the game is like shooting rockets at people when they're farther away, and they're juking and diving, moving back and forth, ducking, running back to, so you have to like predict that too, right? So you're not just leading them. Now you're leading their maneuver that they're going to do to like watch, realign from your movement. Like they know where you're going to shoot next, or they think they do. So you're going to shoot where they think you're not going to shoot. It becomes this whole like mini game just of like, and then you're just shooting a gun with like a magnified scope on it. Like it's so fun to like, and then when you actually hit them and make that headshot, like, and 2-tap them, even though you're like 300 meters away, you're like, fuck yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
And it's super hard. Like it takes like hundreds of hours of shooting in that scoped in mode to like learn how to predict their motion. You have bad players that are hard to hit because they're like running in a straight line when they shouldn't be, and you're like firing 2 shots to the left and then 1 back to the right, and they're still just fucking running, and you're like, why are you doing that? but it becomes like its own. It's like a mini game. It literally is just a mini game inside of the game. Like you're not even getting shot at or anything. Like there's situations where the players are screwed. Like they have to cross distance. They can't avoid. Like there's another team shooting at them, or they have to move because of the zone or whatever. It's super fun to just like get into a good position and then have the other team just squirming under your finger basically. But it happens to you a lot too. Like, the game's random, the circle's random, so there's a lot of RNG in every game. And then it's how you deal with it. Then you do stay behind, let the teams ahead that are trying to stay alive but are moving faster with the zone, let them fight and then come in behind them, or do you try to go around wide and avoid them, knowing there's going to be a team waiting for you in the other position? Do you have is it worth even shooting, or do you want to stay quiet and not let them know you're there?
Right.
So like even if you have easy kills on a team, it's often better to just never fire. Like if they don't know you're there and the other team doesn't know we're there, you let them fight each other and then go around them and get to the next angle, and then when they have to move, now that you've flanked around them, you know where they are, they don't know where you are, and now you have an advantage. It's like chess match. It's really fun. That's why it's cool. It's like what the pro players are sort of leveraging, is that meta of if you know where someone is, and then also keeping track of everyone, right? So like once you get down in the game, you've played a lot, you start learning to track where everyone is around you, and if you don't know where they are, then that might be where they are. So there's this whole like awareness situation that occurs, which you play these kind of games, so you know what I'm talking about. Like any shooter game, it's going to be the same thing, but it's just more important in PUBG because if you fuck up, you die and you're not coming back. Like your game's over. So that everything has more weight to it. So when you successfully make that determination and you end up killing them because of it, you're like, wow, that was fucking awesome. Like battlefield tactics, like warfare tactics. We actually, I see that saved my life this time. So it's cool.
Yeah, it all sounds pretty cool. I just wish it seems like the new player experience is just so terrible.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, and again, like we play first person. That's what I was trying to tell Bad like when he was playing with us. I'm like, you're playing at like, the game doesn't have like a ranking mode really. Like it does, but it doesn't matter because they all just get dropped in together anyway. So like you're playing at like the 99th percentile. First person is like, it's like 25% of the player base plays first person or something.
I don't understand what first person and third person even means. What does that mean?
So the problem with the game in third person is that, and this is how the game came out, there was no first person mode initially. It was all third person. It only came about first person because people like me were asking, like, and making Reddit posts of like, dude, this game.
Like third person, like Fortnite third person? I thought that meant something else. Wow.
Yeah, so when the game came out, you could just stay, for example, on like the roof or a balcony or a second story window and just crouch there inside the window and just pan your camera up and look around at a 180-degree angle across the entire area around you.
That's retarded.
Which made so a player could just push up with cover, from cover to cover in front of you, but you'd be watching them. They'd have no idea you're there. So you could line up your scope, line up your angle, and just come out of your crouch and just light them up and kill them instantly. They'd never know you were there. You're not making noise. They have to make noise. You're not visible. They're visible. And they can't see up because their angle is low. Like they're on the ground. That's why high ground is very important in third person. And the other problem is that you can just snake. So in third person, when you lay down in the grass and go flat, especially players will take off all their gear. They will take off their backpack and they just carry their primary weapon and not have a secondary on their back. You lay down flat and the grass is taller than you. You can't see them. Even if you're standing right next to them, it'd be very, very hard to see them if they're wearing certain clothes. If they're wearing bright pink tutus, it's not going to matter. They're going to see them. But if they're wearing like a camo jacket or brown pants, like where they blend in. So players in third person will often just lay there on the grass and look around using the third person floaty camera. And then when someone walks by, they just kill them. So like you can see how this would be very frustrating in a competitive game.
Yeah, it's anti-competitive.
Right. So we were like, yeah, this doesn't really work. Like you can't play this game. I never played PUBG that much in the beginning when it was third person. And when they launched the first person beta is when I started really playing it. Like I'd played it, a friend of mine at a LAN, we'd land at work and he was like, oh, you gotta check out this new game, PUBG. It was fun. It was like the first week it came out after the closed beta. It was like the early access version 1, the first release. Sure. I'm like, it's cool, but third person is really shitty. Like that guy could be behind a rock watching everything in front of him and we can't see him because our camera view is not 100 feet in front of us, but his camera view is 5 feet above him.
Seems pretty silly that a game released so recently would have that issue.
Yeah, and they always default. Yeah, and it's garbage. It's just not fun to die that way, and it's also not fun when everyone knows that that's what happens, and everyone kind of hides and leverages that. Like you have games where people are just literally hiding around the same wall, like watching it, they're waiting for the other person to move.
Playing chicken.
Yeah, it's just so stupid. Like, so it was really not, the game isn't that great that way. But the reason why it's fun, a lot of, even some people that used to play first person, like streamers and stuff, like Pony Hoff is one of them. He plays third person now because he's like, well, I can talk to my streamers. I can just, my viewers rather. I can talk to my stream. Like, I can interact. It's way easier. I win most
It's
of my
kind of
games. Like,
relaxed. You don't have to...
yeah, everyone. Yeah, no one's really trying. No one really knows how to play. Like, because they've all just been playing this way the whole time. No one really knows how. You don't learn the game when you do that because you're just laying there. You're just sitting, hiding. You're not really learning how to, how to leverage the mechanics of the real game. The way that the game should be played in first person. And in first person, it's much better. I mean, the first early times they were like, China only played in third person, so China had a third person tournament. But then the pro players in China were like, we want to play first person. Like, we don't care that people play third person on their own. Like, we have to play in first person. Like, the pro game has to be in first person. We can't do this. So they kind of dropped for third person tournaments and just did it all in first person.
Sure.
So anyway, it's a long way of saying that the third person player base just tends to be more casual, and they get all up in arms when you post about it. Like,
That's
people
casual
post their
too.
they post videos of them in third person, like, doing ridiculous stuff that they would just get murdered for instantly if they were playing Sanhok, like the jungle map, like I was telling you, like Bad Luck, we made them play first person on Sanhok, like the hardcore map. Like, everyone who goes there just to like be better, playing faster game, getting loot, they don't want to loot, they don't want to, like, they don't care what they look like, they don't care about surviving, they just go there to fight, like, just play the game, it's fun. They don't want to hide in a building for 20 minutes until the end, like, because the game is boring that way. Like, that's like when I play the bigger maps, it's like I want to get a motorcycle and just drive around until I hear shooting and then try to drive over to the people shooting and kill them. Like, that's fun, hiding in a building and waiting for hearing someone's footsteps in first person where you can't even see outside, you're just listening for footsteps the whole time. That's just fucking boring. And the thing is, you die more doing that, but it's more fun, so it's like a trade-off. And as you get better, you learn. Like, the metagame in the game, like, you learn, like, you drop in a certain area, there's two teams around you. Okay, one dropped in the camp next to us, one's in our town. You kill a team in your town. Okay, well, we know those guys are going to be waiting in between us and the circle because they heard us fighting, and then the fighting stopped. So then they're going to be there. It's like, okay, let's go left and right. They'll be at those buildings, left and right, kill them at the buildings. It's like you start learning, like, the flow of the game. Like, but there's probably no one going to be near us now. We're alone on this section. Like, let's move to the next one. Like, then you don't have to worry. You just put your gun down and run. There's no one around you. Like, people watch me playing, like, and they're like, dude, how do you know not to? I'm like, because there's just no one here. Like, no one does that. No one, no one's sneaking out into this area of the map when the zone is in a different direction. You're good. Like, we're clear. The next fight's going to be in another minute or two. It's just, and like, when it's going to happen and when it's not. Most, with a certain percent of certainty. But that just comes from the repetition. So the game's fun, like, because of that. It was not as fun before. Like, when I was playing in the beginning, it was very frustrating. But my friends were playing it, so I just kept playing.
Yeah, having people to play with can make a bad game good for a long time.
Well, and it's so fun in squads because, like, the fucking ridiculous stuff. I mean, like, it's so stupid, the stuff that happens. Like, we're driving and, like, we were looking, like, we just played this game the other day, and, like, we were driving in. And we had a team of driven. We heard, you're driving and you hear another car driving. So you're like, oh, let's pull over this rock, just hit the fucking e-brake and swerve around this rock. We'll all jump out and light these guys up. So we try that. And then, like, another car drove by, like, picked up, we killed one of them. The other car from their same team picked up the other guy and they got away, but their vehicle was almost dead and we were way out of the zone. I'm like, okay, cool, let's get back in the zone. We'll go back to the closest edge. We'll be able to see them. Like, once we get to the vantage point, we can kill them. And we're literally, like, driving through the woods up this hill, and all of a sudden, at a 90-degree angle, the fucking car just crashes. Like, they drove off of a cliff, like, from a 90-degree angle, like, 30, 40 feet above us, literally fly into the air, direct hit our car, like, out of nowhere. Like, we didn't even hear it coming. Like, they were flying from, like, it was like we were all just busting up live. Like, both cars collided, like, the shit exploded, everyone died. We're just like, dude, that was so fucking funny. It was like a movie where you're like, dude, are we clear? Is it, is there anyone? Is it clear? Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's go. And then, like, 30 seconds later, like, out of nowhere, these guys are just fucking flying through the air. Like, they literally just suicided, murder-suicided us. Because we fucked up their team and then tried to kill them and they escaped. But they weren't really trying to go and run. They, like, were fucking hunting us, like, from a different angle in their own vehicle. And then, like, it's so funny. Like, that's the kind of thing, like, we're talking about for 2 days afterwards, And that was just one game. Like, 3 other things happened like that night. That's the kind of shit that makes the game fun. And that's why I don't like playing solos, because solos is just like, you fucking some guy's hiding. You like walk into a doorway and look right, and he's left, and you get shot in the back, and you're like, oh, that fucking sucked. You know, it's just like it's more of like I said, it's like a survival horror jump scare, like what Repairman was saying. This is like he described it perfectly. Like even in squads, you're like, oh fuck, there's a guy here. Like I vault in a window, and there's a guy just crouched opposite me in the room, you know, like in a completely like, you know, in an area where there shouldn't be anyone. He's just standing there, you know, shoots me with like a pistol and kills me.
Spooky.
Takes all my fucking mill loot. I'm like fully kitted out, like looting in the blue zone, like in a late stage of the game when there shouldn't be anyone hiding there, like the mid stages. I mean, like he wasn't trying to win. He was just trying to fuck someone over and then quit, you know, that kind of thing. So like I don't know, people do random shit in the game. But the vehicles really make it a lot of fun. I mean, that's a big part of the game. The meta is like to basically get a fast vehicle or a protected armored vehicle and then use that as like mobile cover or to get to like another safe spot, you know. It's all about like hiding your vehicle. Like there's certain buildings you can drive them into to, you know, protect them from, they can shoot out the tires. So like, you know, one of the plays is just to like drive into a vantage point where you can see them shoot out their tires and then peace out and leave them there, you know, and just fuck them so they have to run, you know, 2 kilometers to get to the next zone if they even make it. And they're gonna be like the whole time looking up at each ridgeline as they're running, like, fuck, there's probably these guys are waiting for us. They shot out our tires, where are they? But you're like long gone. You're like in the next zone in the middle, like holed up somewhere else, doing, you know, fighting a different battle. It's just like there's no game that has that. Like, I don't know, it's hard to, you know. I've played all these other games, but this one is still just has those fun experiences that you can't replicate anywhere else. And it's like just very cerebral. That's why I like it. There's tons of thinking, like tons of like thinking about risk, reward, all that kind of stuff. You know, weighing the factors. Sorry, I'm talking your ear off.
No, man, it's interesting stuff. I won a 7 kill streak while you were giving me that lovely description.
I know you're owning. Just keep talking. You're doing better. Just kidding.
Maybe that's why I'm doing well. Keep talking.
Don't stop. Don't stop.
Ooh.
Almost there.
That was not a good life. You should stream some more PUBG. Do you stream when you play?
Yeah, I can. I don't always. What I would like is having that VOD option. I never saw that before. I thought I had to be affiliated with Twitch in order to get it. That's what I was asking you earlier. I never really thought about it, but I'm like, I don't really want to record locally. But if I'm streaming, I can just pull down the VODs and then clip them. Like that's fine. You know, like that's enough for what I want to do. Just if something crazy happens, you know, just to make like a
like a little highlight. And the other thing you can do too is you can You can grab those and export them to a YouTube channel where they'll never get deleted, basically. Did we capture this base? Is that what happened? Maybe we did. Okay. What is this?
Yeah, like I was always tired of like doing the big name arena shooters just because it's the same experience every time.
Who was?
I was always tired of like playing those after a while, like Quake 3 and all that shit, because I was sick of having the same experience like every time. Like it was PUBG like really struck me because it was just different every single game. Like no two
Yeah,
games were
man.
the same. That's why I really liked it. Like that's what really got me into it. Why I kept coming back even though it was frustrating.
Well, no one's really done anything terribly new or interesting in the arena shooter space since Quake 3. I kind of feel like everything that calls itself arena is just like a different flavor of Quake 3.
Yeah, like even that
Honestly.
game, like, oh, we made Rocket Arena, like this game called Rocket Arena. I'm like, yeah, like we can still play that game.
Yeah.
The game came out like 20 years ago. Like,
And you know,
it was
it's
25 years
okay.
ago.
It's still a fun game, but I mean, maybe it's just a dead. If no one can improve on it, maybe it's just a dead genre.
Yeah, I mean, people in games are looking for new experiences in general. You know what I mean? The gaming population moves from one thing to the next if there's something new or fun or different, right? Because they're just
Oh
looking
man,
for something.
I really like this gun I'm using.
Yeah, you're owning it.
I'm using the the high DPS light assault rifle called Carbine. I put a suppressor on it, which means they don't show up on the radar.
Oh, that's
Laser
awesome.
sight, so the hip fire is tight.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, I didn't realize that's how you're staying hidden. These guys like
yeah.
not tracking you.
Yeah, there's a suppressor on the end of it. You can kind of see it. Oh, but because it's such a high rate of fire gun, I still win like in close quarters. Longer ranges, mid ranges, it's not so good. That's why I have this ridiculous crossbow.
Right.
It's not as reliable as some of the other guns, but it is silent and it's fun.
Yeah, one of the streamers in PUBG uses the crossbow with like the 6x scope, the highest magnification scope, when he doesn't have a better gun. And he like started kind of turning people onto using it because the crossbow one hits everything. It's super powerful. Headshot will hit everything. It's like there's only two guns in the game that one shot you in the head, like the super rare like crate drop sniper rifle, and then the crossbow that's just like sent around everywhere. So it's just funny like how he's influencing people to like use that. Now people do it. It's totally silent. It's impossible to hear. Like all you hear is the thwang when the bolt hits the wall or whatever.
Yeah.
So you're like full on like deer hunter mode. But it's funny, like the game offers that. Like you could just be that. Like you could do that. Like you could just play every game that way. Like just sneaking through the woods, like shooting crossbow bolts and then running away at every position.
And just being super evasive.
It's cool that the game offers like, you know, like that's the way you could play. Or there's like guys that just are like, I want to use the revolver. Like I just want to use the revolver. Like whole game. I'm just gonna use the fucking Dirty Harrier revolver every like, you know. I can't go far, like you said. Like you have a gun that's close range, you're not gonna even engage at long range. You're just gonna stay or reposition, hide or wait for them or bait them in. But it's just funny that like you can play it any way you want, and especially now, like they've changed the game so that the guns are more like specialized for what they do. There's not just like one type of gun that works the best now. Like they've really tried to make them less special. You know, where each gun type is good at something, not just garbage. You know.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting. Buff shotguns, they buffed SMGs, trying to make the players who would use those actually win in a one-on-one situation with the assault
You're gonna
rifles.
risk using an SMG, you ought to win. The
Yeah,
close quarters
exactly.
stuff.
But if they're a few hundred feet away and running, like the bullets are like they're literally like a quarter of the speed or a third of the speed of the assault rifles. So if you're farther away on a moving target, your bullets are just going to be like whiff, you know. Like and then the bullet velocity matters too a lot, because if you're both shooting at the same time, your bullets get there faster. You're going to kill them first, and once they're dead, their bullets do no damage. So there's like a big mechanic about that too. So that's why like the pro players just use all the fastest guns. They don't even really care. Like, doesn't matter what they actually are, as long as the bullets are faster, that's what they're gonna use.
Oh yeah, because they win the heads up stuff.
Yeah, and it's just also the same thing like firing long range. It's faster, you know. The longer, the faster your bullet velocity, the better your effective range is with the gun. So. But it's all about ranges. They've done a pretty good job now. The game in the beginning was a mess, but now like each gun is good at its own thing. There's weapons that are better for longer ranges, weapons that are better for medium ranges, even in the same class, like the same type of gun. It's kind of cool. Like they didn't have that separation in the beginning. It was all just like, these are all the same. Maybe we'll figure it out later.
We got sniped. Nasty.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So are you my stream viewer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm talking to Napalm too, or whatever his name is. Spike is his name on the Capcom's Discord.
How's the quality of the stream? Does it look okay?
Yeah, it looks good. It's way better than how it was like at first. I don't know, whatever you've done is pretty good.
Yeah, I've been working on the settings.
I think you do 720. Is that what you're at right now?
1080 60, baby.
Oh, it is 1080. Okay, cool.
Yep.
I
I
thought before you were having trouble with. Yeah, I think the bitrate needs to.
I used to, but I upgraded my PC, so
Yeah,
I can't do this kind of shit now.
Yeah, I remember before when you're playing what's it called? What was that game called?
Destiny?
When we were playing Warframe, it was lagging when you were like moving, you know, like the high motion. So obviously that was an encoding thing, you know.
Yeah.
Man, it looks super nice now. I'm only in windowed mode. I'm not watching it at full screen, but it's smooth, like really smooth. But obviously this game is not as demanding either, so that helps probably.
This game is pretty crushing. Actually.
I think compared to Warframe though, it's not nearly as.
Oh no, this is way worse than Warframe.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, in this you can have, 100 different players rendered on the screen at the same time, who all need to be interpolated.
Right. No. Yeah, I got you.
Whereas
Just like
with
individual details, not as much, but yeah, there's a lot more.
Yeah. The fidelity of like the textures and the environments is not as high. But look at all the people getting rendered at once, and you can't call anyone really, because if you do, then you get screwed.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
bigger
totally.
fights, it's like it works. It really chugs.
Yeah. No,
but
you're right. Like.
I could like reduce
you're
the graphics quality a little bit to make it a little smoother, but now that I have a nice rig, I don't want to.
Yeah, it runs fine now. I mean, the stream though seems like it's fine. It's not
Okay.
like hiccuping or anything or
It's the
dropping
enemy.
frames.
I need to turn my air conditioner off. My hands are freezing. One sec.
I hate that.
I say you don't need a thing from foreign countries. Is it coffee, Bert? Coffee.
One of the things I'm experimenting with right now is streaming and recording at the same time. I finally figured out how to do multi-track audio for my OBS recordings. So I should have a separate audio track for the game audio for you and for the music I'm listening to.
Yeah, I should probably set it up. I'm going through, like I said, I have an analog mixer, which is really nice because then I can just route everything through there. And if I want to play my keyboard over my headphones or over my home entertainment system, or I used to have another set of speakers on this board. I gave the speakers to my brother-in-law because I didn't have room for them. But you know, like it's easy to just add and remove audio devices, you know, the mixer, so it's super simple. Or add another microphone if we want to sing karaoke, you know, like whatever. It's like super simple.
Yeah, it's
to
cool,
do.
man.
But I don't have. That's why I was talking about the muxing. Is I think it's going over a stereo cable, and the Realtek audio driver is like, okay, this is a stereo cable, and it just flips it into 2-channel mode, even though it's just a mic input.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
it's like, the computer is feeding it as, you know, the video card is or the audio card is routing it as 2 channels, even though it's only 1. So when I was early in Twitch, people were like, dude, you're only coming in like 1 ear. I'm like, oh yeah. It's like like the OBS chat like settings, you can mux it in OBS, it works fine. And I have the different audio channels in there, but I need to look at that too, because like if I'm gonna record, I want to keep the other stuff separate. Like you're talking about. Kind of inspired me to figure that out. I need to use Streamlabs too. Like I'm just using the default OBS client.
There's no default OBS too.
I just don't care like
I put
about
the Streamlabs stuff. Like you can do it all without the Streamlabs implementation of OBS, like the
Just
chat
add all the
overlay and
fancy-
everything.
Yeah, but, I mean, I like the idea of doing that, but I don't stream enough for it to matter. I don't play enough to stream enough for it to matter, you know?
Yeah, I get it.
It's like, I stream when someone's like, oh, cool, I want to watch Hearthstone. Or you're like, oh, cool, let me watch PUBG for a couple games. You know, like, that's fine. Like, I'm usually talking to them live on Discord, so it doesn't matter, you know? Like,
Sure.
I read the chat. Like, I don't have a second monitor even. I can't even read the chat live unless I use the tab mic. I put my tablet up if I'm really doing it, but typing on the tablet's annoying.
Having a second monitor. That's weird.
I have like 3 other monitors, but I just don't use them. Like I don't have them attached to this PC. I mean, I use 3 at work. I don't know. At home, I just don't care. I mainly just game on here. sucked. Just going over his head.
What? You saw that? That was
Just
really
going over
weird.
his head. Yeah, that happens in PUBG. In PUBG, you fucking above or below the player and shoot them. It fucks with like the bullet drop physics, you know, like the way the gravity affects the bullet. It's like you missed bone up easy shots. Like, it's so fucking frustrating. Those are just going right through him.
Shouldn't go into that.
Yeah, those guys are like 6 dudes waiting there.
Yeah, I was a little overly optimistic.
You were the guy with like the shield that you killed earlier. You turned into him.
Yeah. There's a sniper up here. See him. Oh, I just saw him. Ah, shit. Sneaky sniper.
Was the invisibility cloak these guys are using, does it impart any other ability, or does it just make them invisible? It doesn't like give them extra defense or anything.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's just a cloak. And it's only one class in the game that gets it, the Infiltrator. They're the only ones
There's
that can access
17
like sniper
dudes that are
rifles.
using it. There's a bunch of people using it.
It's kind of a noob trap, honestly. Everyone wants to be the sniper, you know.
Yeah.
Ah, triple tap, got him. Commando 3.
That's nice. You guys traded it or someone else killed you.
Mama always told me that when I grew up I would be a Commando 3. She was right. Honestly, if these guys get a clue and push a little hard, they would screw me up pretty bad, but they're coming a little piecemeal. If I could aim a little better, I would be destroying them. Oh, that guy spotted me. Okay.
You seem to be doing fine. I mean, not really getting out-aimed in any situation. Not in one-on-ones. Why did I say that?
Alright, let's try another angle.
So how many players are in this game?
Let's see. Right now in this base, you can see 1224 versus. Oh, shouldn't look at the map while in the open. Somewhere between 24 and 48 players at this base. There's just one base on the continent. This is also like late night. But you see, there's a fight over here at the biolab that's got double that amount. So there are going to be 50 to 100 players over there.
And there's 3 factions, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Blue, purple, and red. Actually, I might move over to that fight in the west. That's probably more. I bet it's an
Do you mean
easier
to have-
fight.
Do you mean to have the game audio muted right now?
Is it muted?
Yeah, I forgot to ask you that earlier. I've had you muted because I'm talking to you most of the time, but I keep forgetting to ask you.
Yeah, I will. No, I don't mean that. I'll have to check up on that.
I can hear the music. I can hear myself, but I can't hear the game audio.
Gotcha. Yeah, let me check.
Just to
that.
not have an echo. I've been muting the Twitch. You know what I mean? I don't because I'm hearing myself feedback.
Oh, you know what? I didn't fix the audio device from the game before I started playing. It's dumb.
Because you're doing them separate then.
Yeah, I have them all, let's see. Planet side. Yeah, it needs to go to cable B. Okay. Will that take? Or do I have to restart? Can you hear it now?
Might be really quiet, it's hard to tell.
Why won't this come up? Oh. OBS. Game audio?
No, it's definitely not on there now.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not
Playing
hearing it.
compressor.
I'm not seeing any lights come up on the audio thing. Hang on. Maybe I screwed up the settings.
Don't worry about it now. Just play your game.
CD. Oh no, I get this set up. Okay. Should be hearing stuff now. I think it's working now.
Yeah, now you turn it up, I can hear it now. I think it might have been really quiet before.
No, I had it set up the wrong audio device, so it wasn't even coming through, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I got it now. I can hear it now.
How's the game audio music balance?
Visual on hostile light assault trooper. Enemy max. Hostile max completed by
Alright. Let's see if this fight's better. That one was getting a bit stale. Alright, let the farming begin.
respawning.
Hey Elmix, I am playing on Emerald actually. A little bit of late night action here on the east coast of the U.S. How you doing tonight? Probably should be using the closer spawn. Yes, here. Or if I can play a little smart, I should be able to. Oh, hello. Be able to kill some mans. Hit a man. He's killed. Oh yeah, I never played on the European servers. I'm actually located West Coast US, so my ping there is pretty bad.
Spotted a hostile medic.
Good.
And there's no fall damage.
Yeah, there is. I'm using my jump jets to feather it.
Yeah.
Hostile here.
Cool.
Got extra ammunition here.
Shit. Aim, Greg, aim. Oops. Not bring up the map. Oops, 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 oops.
Ammunition here. Enemy spotted.
Inside, inside.
Ammunition here.
Crossbow time?
Reach the restricted area immediately.
Alright. Need to find a new angle on this fight, methinks.
Visual hostile light assault trooper. Enemy medic spotted.
Enemy infiltrator spotted.
my
Allied
god.
assault trooper spotted.
That was embarrassing. There. I'm getting a little impatient. Oh wow, 8 viewers. What is up, y'all? Having a good night out there in Araxis. It's not where I wanted to go. Look at that ball of red men. Christ.
We just saw an enemy medic. Enemy medic spotted.
Let's check out B. Shaking my head.
Hostile light assault trooper spotted.
Take a note of. Watch your back.
We just saw an enemy medic. Enemy soldier down.
We can still win this.
Eyes on hostile light assault.
Let's have a look at the other front.
You've got a hostile cloak in your eye. Join this. Enemy engineer spotted.
I think perhaps bust out the ACX-11 here or something else. Just like GD. Too open at this base.
Enemy light assault in the area.
Stop. Oops. was a good shot.
Changing mags. Cover me. Visual on hostile light assault trooper.
Keep rolling. You've got this. The facility is secure.
Chill out. Watch your six. Infiltrating the area. Take a load on. Enemy engineer spotted.
The A611's good for range stuff.
Two on this. Ice that guy.
I'm gonna die.
Oh, don't do that. Are you playing Hearthstone?
Nah, I'm just talking to that guy, Spike.
Oh, you guys playing TFC or something?
Were you playing earlier? I can't remember if I was playing earlier with him. I was just talking to him. He's asking me all this stuff.
Is he a TFC or who is this Spike guy?
He played TF2, and he found the Catacombs Discord after he started playing TFC and liked it.
Oh, he's only 16 years too late.
Yeah, he's like 23 now, or something. But he has been enjoying playing TFC, and so he's like just asking me about all this random shit. You know? He doesn't know how to play that well. He's played like 100 hours in TFC or something.
Kind of
He has
cute.
thousands of hours in TF2.
Wow.
But he thinks, I mean, he likes playing Pyro, and the class is difficult in TFC, obviously, because it's garbage. You know, like, it's the hardest class to play just because you're so underpowered. So he
Is it
enjoys
good in
playing.
TF2?
Yeah, Pyro. TF2, they really did a good job. I wish I had thought about doing it. They made the right click an air blast that repels projectiles.
Oh, sure.
Like, it's so fun. Like, I should have thought of that.
For Fortress Forever, you mean?
Yeah, I'm not sure if we tested that or not. I don't even remember. It may have been in the game. It's a cool feature. Like, it makes it very skill based because it also matters which direction you blow it back and whatnot. You know.
Sure.
It costs ammo, so you can't do it forever. If you have 200 ammo, it costs 50 or 25 or something. You know, it's a large chunk of your. But yeah, and then Pyro does the most damage close quarters. Like out DPS's heavy weapon guy and everything. So it's used to basically break through like hard defense positions. So just Uber a Pyro in, as long as they don't have another Pyro to blow him back or 2 Pyros to blow him back. Then you Uber can get in and just do a lot of damage to their sentry gun, blow up their teleporters, kill their whatever, you know, their heavy weapon guys, whatever. Kill all the guys that are stacked up defending around a choke point or whatever. So it's a necessary part of the game because it's all attack defend on TF2. There's no
Yep.
when everyone's in a straight line, the guy that can bust through the tight places with high damage. You can't heal your sentry gun cut through the fire. Everyone just melts it. But he's not very good farther away, other than the fact that you can brush back projectiles. Yeah, like watching you play PlanetSide, like it's cool. Like I just don't like the constant respawning, the constant action. Like the entire game is just drowned out with like constant bullet fire. Like,
What do you
like
mean?
it's cool, but there's no pace to it. Like I don't know. Like every kill is just like they're just respawning again. You know, like that's why I had a problem with Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
You kill like wave after wave in Battlefield 5, and they just come right back like 100 feet away,
This-
just fighting them again.
These big battles are battles of attrition. It's not about
Yeah.
clearing them out once. It's about they kill you 500
Number
times,
of
you kill them
tickets,
700
whatever.
times. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I played a lot of that. Like I played a ton of 2142. Like that's the itching point about 2142. It's basically like very similar to 2142. The futuristic weaponry, you know, the mobility and all that. 2142, like I've said in the past, you've probably seen me talk about it. It was like
Sure.
by far the best Battlefield game.
You know,
Just
the
'cause
only
of the sci-fi element.
The only combined arms game that's ever interested me has been PlanetSide. For some reason, none of the battlefields really appeal to me. Like, you take combined arms, put a little MMO in it, and you make 1,000 players. It's like, okay, that's enough to get me interested.
Yeah, yeah.
But if it's small scale server stuff, it's like, eh.
The reason
I'd
why
rather
I
play
don't
something that was more competitive. I wanted to do something small scale, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And this game won't hold my attention because I've kind of just been ruined by PUBG with the way that the gunplay works. Like, the gunplay is insane in PUBG. Like, it's so difficult to use and like control and aim that like playing another game where you're just pointing and clicking. It's
Yeah.
it's not fun anymore when there's nothing to it.
Yeah, it's probably a lot more. It's definitely a lot simpler than PUBG based on what you told me. But I mean,
Yeah, like the guys-
it ain't all just like laser beams. But
Yeah, no, the Counter-Strike, some of the Counter-Strike pro players, they designed the gunplay in PUBG. So like they did a really good job. They wanted to take like what made Counter-Strike but add that same element to guns. It's
the individual
long
gun
range,
mastery.
yeah, and not have it be like Counter-Strike. There's no ADS. There's no real long range. I mean, they do have ADS. But the AUM does, the Scout does, the SIG does, but like
Yeah, but it's not every gun. That's one.
you're,
That's one.
you're, you're like 100 feet away max. Like there's no
Yeah.
that's too like the longest corridor is like 200 feet or something. You know.
One of my biggest critiques of modern shooters is that everything is built for ADS, which slows games down. One of the big reasons I like playing Light Assault in this game is because you can get away with, like the one I was using before, where it had the high rate of fire, kind of made for skirmishing.
Yeah. Fire.
Basically, the gun I'm using now, if you're watching, it is a long-range gun, so I'm aiming down sights every time I use it.
Yeah, I mean it's cool because I do see in PUBG you hip fire a lot too. Like in close quarters, you can't ADS because it just screws up the moment. You know, like the player's like jumping through a doorway or whatever. You're not going to be able to,
Yeah.
like, you know. And you can also fire faster. Right? Like it takes time for the ADS animation to play, so you're going to be getting shot by the guy who's hip firing. You know,
Yep,
first.
yep. Opportunity cost, right?
And they have the laser sight element. So all the guns that can take a laser sight, you just murder people with hip fire. Like it's not even, you know, like they're not gonna have any chance if you're in the same building with them. Your bullets literally just aim more. You know, you fire 30 bullets each or whatever, but you fired 15 bullets each, but yours are gonna hit way more accurately. You know.
Sure.
Like your spray is going to be better, in other words. But PUBG actually has 3 modes. So there's like hip fire from like the hip, then there's an aim option, which is like halfway between ADS and hip fire, and then there's a full ADS mode, which is dependent on your scope, right? Iron sights or like a short range scope or a higher magnification.
Wait, there are 3 scope states? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, so there's stationary, like hip fire. There's
Yeah.
aim, which is like bringing the gun up to your shoulder, but not up to your eyes. And then there's ADSing all the way up to your eyes. And the good players will actually use all 3 because they all, you know, it's based on the range, right? How far away you are. So the shouldering is pretty fast. It's faster than any of the ADS modes. But you can buff your ADS speed by using certain attachments. So like there's a grip on the gun that doesn't really do anything, but it just makes you like 33%, a third faster ADS.
Yeah, makes sense.
Or 50% faster ADS. And then it's interesting because there's only one long range gun that can take that scope enhancement. And it's not a bolt action gun, but it's like a DMR, you know, it has a 10 round mag, you can extend to 20. And if you put the thumb grip on it, you can like literally like peek zoom and shoot any of the other guns faster than they can deal with. So you sort of have this weird like counter meta where you're playing with a shorter range DMR, but you have the quick range scope with the high magnification scope that now you can zoom in twice as fast as them. Like, you know, the animation state just literally plays faster, you know, twice as fast. So there's nothing they can do. The bullet accuracy doesn't, you know, you're not fully accurate until it zooms, you know, has a scale as you zoom in. So if you want to hit that pinpoint shot, you have to wait till it's all zoomed in. If you can get there faster, you can just shoot and then unpeak it and be gone before they can hit you, you know. This is very funny. Like, if you're using that loadout, it's just really fucked with the guys who are firing bolt actions that have a super slow rate of fire. You can fire 2 shots off almost in the time it takes for them to get their one, you know, using that particular attachment. So a lot of players use that. They use it on their close range guns too, but there's only one sniper rifle you can put it on. You know, one high magnification weapon that accepts a higher magnification scope. So it's interesting. Some of the good players like swear by that thumb grip, because if they both have the same aim, that they can get in their animation faster, then they can wreck you, right? Like if everyone sees each other at the same time, everyone knows where everyone is, everyone's, you know, good at the game, everyone can aim, then you have worse recoil control. But if you get good at using that grip, it doesn't matter, you know, you're gonna get used to it. But that's what's cool, like the game has those kind of things, and it's all centered on the fact that it's really hard to just shoot your weapon. It's really hard to aim and control it. Like I said, I played for 1,500 hours now. I can barely, you know, I'm still learning new ways of controlling the recoil and using higher magnification scopes to hit pinpoint shots in full auto from further away. And then your body state, you know, standing, ducking, prone, standing, crouching, prone also affects the recoil control. So having, you know, being already in a ducking state, for example, is a big advantage against someone who's not. And it's just so cool because each one of these elements is like whether or not you won or lost that game, you know, like whether you just died instantly and are eliminated or whether you continue to play to the next stage and make it to the end, you know, like these tweaks mean something because you don't get to respawn. I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like it's a different mechanic. Like you play.
Yeah, that's one thing about
differently.
PUBG I've had a hard time orienting my mind around, is the idea that every single round you're like limited to what you loot, instead of being able to make choices like before you deploy.
Yeah. Well, that's, yeah, I mean, it's hard because you have to know. In the early game, players are just scrambling for any weapon they can get, right? So you might have like the auto shotty, which is just the worst gun at range, right?
Yeah.
But that's what's cool because like tons, like every time I play with my squad, I'm like, shit, I have the auto shotty. I'm like, cool, I'm just gonna run out to those crates. You guys just start fucking shooting at them, or start shooting each other, I should say. Because like in the early game, it's hard to keep track of where all the teams are. So if you hear gunshots coming from a building, another team will just rush you, right? You just start fucking shooting the wall next to each other. Team runs out from cover, runs past you, and then you're 10 feet away from them. Now your shotgun's gonna matter, right? And then as soon as you start firing, the team in your team obviously knows to, like, you know, we're gonna unpeak our angles and shoot them too. And surprise, we're not really fighting anyone. We're just waiting for you idiots to come running out in the open. But like just doing that is like more rewarding than me playing any other like shooter for all day. Like just doing that one time, you're just like, oh, that was so fucking awesome. Like we did like a real thing that you could do to someone, you know? Like he's got the shotgun. Okay, I need to get to a position where I can be in close quarters, but how am I not gonna get discovered? Okay, we'll make a distraction. You know, like that shit all works. Like that's what makes you good at that game. It's just being smarter than your opponent. It's so cool. There's no other game that's ever been that way.
My cat has decided to sit right in front of me on my desk.
So you need the cam turned on so I can see.
Yeah.
Cat.
Cat cam.
Yeah, so it's cool. Like you can put yourself in a position to succeed with that close range weapon. I mean, that's just one example, but oftentimes I'll push to like a place that's not really safe, knowing that I'm also going to maybe die or get down, but I can inflict more damage than I can if I'm, sniping across the warehouses, at 200 feet, and all I have is that pistol or that auto shotty. So it's a lot about just like how to use what you have, so thinking on your feet, right? And every game is different. Like literally, like there will never be another. Like the circle is different every game. Like the first place you drop is different, whether there's someone there or not. Maybe there's 6 teams. Like fucking 6 people decided, 6 sets of 4 decided to go where you went, and the next game you go there, there's no one there. It's like every single game, just you think on your feet, survive, and by the end of any win, like anytime you actually are the last man standing, like the shit that you had to do to get there is always insane. Like I was telling you, like the game I had like a 9 kill. I was like running through an open field with 4 people shooting at me, throwing smoke grenades, and like just running for like 200 meters while my team had driven away, and the only vehicle we had that didn't have enough seats, and they couldn't come back and get me because they were gonna die if they tried to. It's like, it's okay, go on without me. I'm like, maybe I can survive,
My heart will go on.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of that in the game. Or just where your opponent or your teammate gets knocked and the blue zone is moving in the later stage where you know that they don't have enough time. Like if you stop to heal them, either you'll die in the 10 seconds that it takes to res them, or they'll just bleed out in one tick when they are stood up again before they can heal. Right? Like there's a certain point in the game in phase 4 or 5 where you can no longer survive. Like even if you were to get resurrected, you would just fall back over before your quickest, shortest, smallest healing item has a chance to proc, right? But like we've actually had players, we've kept our team alive, like resing them, running back in and healing while they get up and run and jump and then fly and die again, and resing them again, and then they run and jump. They only needed to make it like 12 feet, And like everyone else is egging them on. We're taking turns running out into the blue to bring them in. We got them alive. We kept them alive, and then we win the game. We're like, fuck yeah, we made it. Like there's just, it's like, that's what I mean. Like when you're just respawning every 5 seconds, none of that ever matters. You never even get to that. The games don't matter. The
Well, one of the
kills
things
don't
you're not seeing, if you're watching my stream, is you're not seeing the coordinated game. And if you play with the platoon and you're doing point holds, like there is a lot of that drama. But this game lets you play solo pretty comfortably for the most part.
Yeah, you're owning pretty much. I don't know what I can't tell what your statistic, like your
Nah, I'm not owning that hard on it.
KD
Man.
or whatever. You had some good runs. You're killing more people.
Yeah. No, my
Positive,
143 kills, 107 deaths.
Yeah,
Like if I was really good, I would have all those kills with like a half to a third of those deaths.
But half the time you're just dying because there's 2 or 3 players that are running together.
Yep.
Or 1.
Yeah, and the trick with this game is to understand when those situations are going to occur, how to get out of them, like how to put yourself.
The Battlefield respawn mechanic, it's like the same game. Like you're burning tickets or burning resources to respawn, so you can stay alive.
The funny thing that they didn't figure out this game though is that there are no actual resources. Like, they did this in PlanetSide 1 and they took it out of this game. I don't understand why. You can just respawn at a base indefinitely. There's no cost, there's no...
So how do you actually capture it? You have to complete objectives inside of the area?
You just capture bait. You capture points. Like you see, this base has 3 points ABC.
Yeah. So you just take over the area.
Yeah.
And then that's when like the larger macro battle is being waged based on those smaller.
This is just one base battle. These 3 points. There are 15, 20 bases on the continent.
But there's a
Right
point
now.
where the game. There's a point where like behind you, like 7 sectors above you, like that's owned by the blue team. Like no one's fighting there, right? You're only fighting at the edges.
Yeah. In fact, there's a lattice built into the continental structure where you can only actually capture bases that are linked by these lines.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah.
5 points or whatever you want. Be like the killing of roads and medieval battle,
What's up,
where you can get your
Kadapi 69? What's going, man? Or lady?
Yeah, so like that random crazy stuff that happens in PUBG, and then just the gun mechanics, the shooting mechanics being so in depth. That's what really. It's just funny to see like these FPS streaming. What the hell? Did you melee him or did you die before you hit him?
I did melee him. It just I didn't do enough damage to him before I meleeed him.
Like had like one health. From
Yeah, the quick melee isn't an instant kill, but it does a lot of damage.
yeah, that's what I figured.
So, but if you soften
In
him
a
up
game like
before you
this,
melee him,
it should do a lot of damage in a game like this. Not like walking in front of people's faces. Right?
hey man, thanks for the follow. No, I haven't, but I'll.
Missing is a stealth kill. They've always
check
talked
him
about
out.
doing it. They just haven't done it yet. You get it behind someone, you should be able to just insta kill them quite early. It's a real problem. Like when you're fighting a squad and you have to expose yourself to fight to kill one of them. You can't just silently down one of them and then not expose your location. Sounds great. It'd be cool if you could just knife him in the back or something.
Yeah. Actually,
They
I'm
have it
pretty
in
sure that in order to be really stealthy, I'm actually missing an important piece, which is they added this element to the game a few years ago called implants, which kind of are little enhancers, and they actually it's one of the ways they're monetizing the game. So see this down here. Like there are all these implants, and like some of them make it easy for you to be stealthy. Like look at sensor shield. Radar signature no longer appears on the detection devices, which is huge because everyone uses the minimap to find each other, which is one of the things that makes this game kind of more casual.
So everything farther than 30 meters can't see.
Yeah, and that's just the first level. Like as you upgrade it, which costs a ton of this currency you only gain by doing in-game events, it gets more and more effective.
So they're selling power in that, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There is some power, but it's like it's a bit of a gray area because you
the
can
game
still
free?
you can still do well even if you don't buy it, and you can unlock it just by playing the game.
Yeah, you just have to grind it. Is the game free though, or does it cost money? It used to cost money, didn't it?
It is free. PlanetSide 2 has always been free to play.
Oh wow.
Yeah, actually, I think that the implant system was actually pretty successful. The the dev team for this game was shrinking for a long time, right up until they released it, and then they started adding people again.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Firefall?
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that game, but
The
I
biggest
feel like
joke now
it
is,
came out during that few years where I basically wasn't doing any gaming at all.
Yeah, it was the biggest joke in the game industry when I was. They had
What was
like
it
this
supposed to be?
huge, marketing budget. It's like pretty much like Fun Time Simulator. It's like a social MMO shooter. It had instance battle. Anyway, yeah, it was like they kept on pumping more and more money into this game.
That has
It
never
wasn't very
happened, but
good.
I'll talk to my wife about it.
That's funny. Game world, video game industry thing. Like they got someone to finance, they spent the most money on marketing of any game ever, and it was just all like, no one ever played the game. The game just died. Eventually they're like, fuck it. Can't put a round peg in a square hole. And like they took over the Arcade Expo like multiple times. Wall to wall coverage of the game, like posters and banners, here's the Firefall Expo. I knew some of the guys that worked on it, but only because we just met them at the cons, and some of our marketing people knew their marketing people. And the girl who was on my marketing team was like, she was actually in like rap videos. Like,
What?
She was, yeah, she was so funny. She was in like, what the hell's the name of it? I can't remember the name of it. She was in like a music video for like a rap group. She
Okay.
was really good. Like she was good looking. Like it worked to our advantage in the game industry. You had to have good looking girls in PR and marketing.
The marketing equivalent of Booth Bimbo.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to remember. She was the one that knew the game from Fire. I was reminding me of her. She just got married actually. I'm sure she has a baby now.
Sure.
And one of the other PMs on my team was like always trying to bone this other chick that she worked with. It's so funny. I always make fun of him. Like half the people, they were sleeping with each other. Like the CEO was banging his fucking assistant. He was married. The VP was banging the fucking receptionist. The EP was banging the girl from, you know, like it's like it was a relatively small company. Everyone was fucking each other.
That's what happens when you spend too much time working together.
Yeah, exactly. It was so funny. Like the CEO had a wife and kids. Like that was the worst. You know, you're like, dude, come on. He just came up on my Facebook like recommended friends list the other day. It was so funny. It's like this fucking clown. He was a manufacturing. He was the CEO of a manufacturing company in China, like a parts manufacturing company in China, and he was friends with someone with our parent company. So they let him be CEO of the U.S. affiliate of a gaming company that he knew nothing about the industry, had no contacts, had no idea what he was doing. Barely spoke English. It's like, dude, seriously.
Sounds smart.
The game was being run by a Korean guy, the VP. The one under him was basically running the game, running the company, and then my boss and his you know, the two executive producers and the EP were running the company, and the two executive producers weren't getting a cut of the profits, so they both quit and they got out of there. They were making all the money for the company and not getting any of it back. Pretty shady. Chinese company were just leeching the profits off the company. I think I'm gonna go to bed. It's almost 2.
Yeah, it's getting late.
This game looks cool though. I like it. There's like a lot of stuff going on in it.
That's what's neat about it. And I'm just playing a very narrow slice of it. This like solo light assault thing. There's a big vehicle game. There's flying. There's
Yeah,
commanding. There's squad stuff.
That's cool. It's cool that it's working out too. Like it's just neat. Like you said, like the game was dying and then brought it back.
Yeah, I think that's one of the cool things about it is that it still exists.
Is it on Steam?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Alright, man. Later.
Take it easy, man. Good night. Planet side? I think I've been playing. Well, I played it a bunch, like 3 or 4 years ago. Put it down for a long time. Just been back playing it for about a week. All told, I've put about 600, 700 hours into it, I think. This is not my main character, but a new one that I started up. I forgot I had that beacon up. Oh, I didn't even hit that guy. Guess what? What, you really FW? What's FW mean?
Give it your all.
The grapefruit method. Grapefruit method of what? You know, I could feel that coming through the words somehow. I'm not that surprised to hear you're a little high, my friend. It's all good though, man. Saturday night, taking it easy. What better time, you know? What? Who even? Nah, man, I don't got any. Yeah, man. Okay, this time we're gonna do something good. We're gonna kill something. But you're not gonna die like an idiot. Watch. Here goes. Good stuff happening right now. Oh no! That's not good. Ugh. It's like I'm high in game. Nah, man, I'm on the other side of the country. I appreciate that, though. shit.
We're about to lose this facility.
Hey man, I appreciate the offer, but I'm good. I'm just happy to chill out here, broadcasting on the Twitchers. You enjoying the music? Change it up. I have not smoked since high school, actually. It's not really my thing. Long time ago.
Just saw an enemy medic. Reloading. Cover me.
The enemy is taking the facility.
Yeah, man. Thank God that fight is over. That was miserable. Excuse me. Oh man, do you have Spotify? If you send me a Spotify playlist, I can put it on. I prefer stuff that doesn't have a lot of vocals though, because I find it to be pretty distracting. Oh man, I did not deserve to survive that. Yeah, just drop me. I think you just dropped the URL in chat, right? Oh man. It's like there's no one on my faction. It feels like somehow I keep finding myself in these 1 versus N scenarios. What the hell? Honestly. A claymore? The hell?
Enemy medic in the area.
God, that went right through him. I'm getting mad salty up in here.
Enemy medic spotted.
Coming in behind. One. One.
You can still cut this out. Come on, we're losing this.
Spotted a hostile infiltrator.
The Terran Republic has taken the facility.
Take them all. Got a present for you. Enemy soldier down.
That was too many mans. Look at this mad lad.
Whoa! Stop shooting. Lads, take them
Whoa.
all.
Wow, that guy's still alive? Holy shit. What's that guy thinking? Let's try this again. actually work this time. Oh god.
Visual hostile light storm.
These guys have my number. I do not approve of shotguns. And that doesn't count as a result. Alright, man. I'm standing by. Straight fire. How are there always 3 of them? There's always 3. Where'd that guy go? Oh, there he is. We might done. Did not mean to drop down. I don't get it. I hit that guy at least 3 times. Alright, let's check this out. Can I open this in the Spotify app? Let's see. Trap in. Alright. You let me know if this is the right one. Oh no! How old am I? I'm old enough. Oh no! I didn't mean to throw a grenade. Let's get another one. Oh. Okay.
Changing mags. Cover me. Spotted a hostile.
Alright, man. I'm not saying I'll let you know if you got it right, but you're welcome to guess. Most people guess low at my age. I'll give you a little hint. Ooh. Actually pretty close. Pretty close. A few years younger, but just a few. Oh. Draw, what does that mean? Yeah, I'll double check it's on shuffle. Why can't I see the shuffle button? I just started using the Spotify app, so... Oh, there it is. Yeah. We are shuffling. You know, this is not what I usually listen to, but I'm digging it. I know it makes me also sound old, but you know, what can you do? Friend or foe? Friend. Oh no. It's a cool thing about music though, man. Like, good music stands the test of time. It doesn't matter what it is. There's some shit from when I was a teenager that I go back and listen to all the time. Some shit though, I go back and listen to it and I'm like, yeah, I don't like this anymore. It's not about what's cool, it's about what you like, you know? That's my perspective. Can't see shit. Yeah, man. Everyone likes the Beatles. You're dead. Kyle M for Monkey. Good name. Aw, man. I was hitting that guy first. I believe I deserved that kill. We have a hero up here. Looks like he died a heroic death. Hello, Mr. Max. That's not a good spot for me. Two medkits left. Let's use one. Oh yeah, that felt good. No, too many. Ooh. Oh no, it's shooting me. That was a good run. Rude. Rude. Yeah, man, I love this bow. Like, I would like to get really good with it. Right now, I'm just like an enthusiastic amateur, I feel like. But when you hit that bow shot, it just, you feel like such a badass. See, I missed one right there. Oh. Okay. A little too aggressive. That guy did not know where he was. See ya. I don't want to be up here. Oh, yeah. The window here. Take that. Let's fall back a bit. Oh, shit, I'm not gonna win that. The bow's a 2-shot kill. But if you... It really only takes like 1 shot, like a little bit of damage, and a crossbow will get you if you hit him in the head. The classic combo... Oh, hello. I gotta take a long time to die. The classic combo is crossbow, knife. So at close range, you come up behind someone, and you go, shoot knife, and that kills them. And it's totally silent. Grenade into the breach. Alright, let's try this sneaky sneak one more time. Oh, there's no one here. Hello? What? It's pro and it works. It's a funny thing about a game like PlanetSide because there's no limits on the size of battles. Like, sometimes there are dudes everywhere you look. Or shit you completely couldn't have planned for. They're trying to take down our spawn point. Oh, I missed. Hit it! If I hadn't missed the first one, I would have gotten him. We gotta push him back. Shouldn't chase this guy. Fuck. This guy's got me. Yeah. Oh well. I have never done that. Seems like it'd be a hard thing to pull off. We lose our spawn? No. Just slow me down. They are flanking us a little bit. You're not in a good spot here. Horse Hunter is rolling up though. The fight must go on. I feel like I deserve that kill. Oh, no. Go away. Got you that time, bitch. Well. Alright. No. Come on. Yes. That guy must be tired of me killing him.
Jump jet up ahead.
Ooh, almost had him. Yeah, close. Oh, where am I?
I'm turned up, can't turn me down, bitch. I made my mama proud. Diamond chokers in my neck, wet, I might drown. Bitch, I'm playing with a chick, I don't play around. Thumbing through that cash, yes, I love how it sounds. School of hard knocks, bitch, got my cap and gown. I ran.
Leave me alone.
They say I ain't funny now. Ain't shit changed, I've been doing this since a child. Talk of the town, I ain't with the ground. Never make a sound, I always held it down. Used to jump the other side, now I might jump in the crowd.
Alright. We're gonna. Oh shit. No, 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 no. I guess we're going on the defensive. Okay with that. Good, man. Be in a song or two on something else. But thanks for sharing the art, man. That's always appreciated. What's going on here? I have 2 boosters on, and it's a double XP weekend for members. So that's why. Alright guys, don't kill their AMSs. Let them roll up so we can have a fight.
Visual on hostile light assault trooper.
Alright, because we're going from a defensive fight, excuse me, because we're going from an offensive fight to a defensive fight, I'm going to change my loadout to favor a more long-range weapon. Been using this GD7F with suppressor, laser sight, soft point ammo. I'm gonna go from that to ACX-11, compensator, forward grip, and high velocity ammo. But who knows? It could be arriving at our doorstep here, in which case I will switch back to goddamn 7F.
Clear out that. Finish them off. The attackers have been repelled.
see that guy actually shooting me? He was just staring at me and bullets were appearing in my body. Where is the enemy team? Like, no idea where they actually are. That was the guy who killed me last time. Okey-dokey. Getting pretty tired, man. I think I might be called a night here shortly. Wow, that was humbling. You were up late, my friend. It's about 3 hours earlier here. Yay, I got someone. Make a nice day. Oh fuck, man. Can't even play PlanetSide on an Xbox, man. He must be high.
For you.
I might be wrong. I thought it was just PlayStation 4 and PC.
Visual on hostile light assault.
What? Jesus, that guy took a lot to kill. Ah, it's a bummer, man. Hope that was wrong.
Need to reload.
30 mil, huh? It's too bad. It didn't seem to do too well there. What I've seen. Oops, oops, oops. was a dumb grenade. I shouldn't have thrown that. What? Tank mine? That was a confusing interaction. F. Yeah, the PS4 version, in hindsight, well, I'd say in hindsight, because even at the time it didn't seem like that good of an idea, but, you know. Not really sure what forces made that happen.
Hold on. How did you gas to bring this shit back? What the fuck is you doing? What the fuck is that, man? We ain't playing with these niggas. Like, fully loaded. The Swish Sweet, fully loaded. The Rich P, fully loaded. So this 45, fully loaded. Them young niggas, I can't control them. Pull up with a $30,000
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna get any argument from any unside players about that. It does seem like it was just a dumb idea.
The attackers have been repelled.
Alright, this is my last life, man. After this, I am gonna call it a night.
Got this. Don't let up.
It is gas, man. You are so right.
Got a present for you.
It's not a grenade.
Reloading, cover me.
I'm a man, you go crazy for the cash. Green, I'ma give me the tag. Riding through the city, like a man. Niggas snitching in the police with no bag. How I grew up, my mama with my dad. So when I grew up, I let it down when I was about to crash. Like hell, when I hit the tree, I smell the gas. Looking in the sky, looking for my bag. When I used to kick the door, shoot for the cash. Everybody hit the floor for you make me mad. Yo, hell, it's the soul, it was too fast. Turn to the Lord, my soul. Control, take control. Shit, got it cold, but it's cold. So, holding the street.
Night, bro. Easy, dude. Enjoy that cereal. I have my number.
Think about my dad. When I used to kick a door, shoot you for the cash. Everybody hit the floor for you make me mad. Devil had a nigga soul living too fast. Burn to the Lord.
An hour on the alert. Yeah, I'm not gonna make it all the way there.
Hold of me. Bitches ain't shit, got exposed by E. So naive, cold in the street. I've been crossed out by my own brother. Ain't no rules in the street, don't trust him. Ran it up and I had to go and bust it. Police about to kick the door, now we gotta flush it. Riding on the back street, thinking about my brother. Friend, did he come home to his loving mother? Can't believe it that I got it all out the gutter. FaceTime round 3, Mike in the puddle. How I'm supposed to take it? Niggas dying round the